2 easy and quick wire wrapped rings using beads from jessiejamesbeads.com. I'm using a faux druzy from the Gingerbread Hollow collection, which is part of the winter collection at Jessie James Beads. You're also going to need a cutter tool, a ring mandrel, and 20 inches of 20 gauge artistic wire. Let's get started with the first ring. Thread your bead onto the wire and bring it to the middle of the wire and bend on either side to lock in your bead. I'm using a flat backed bead for this, but you can use a round bead for this. Any of your favorite Jessie James beads will work with this project. Place the bead onto the wire mandrel, laying it one size larger than the size of the ring that you want to make. So for instance, if you want to make a 7 ring, then you need to put this on the size 8. Place the bead on the mandrel so that the wires are both going to the back. Taking one side of the wire, wrap around the mandrel, around the back, and around the front, underneath the bead. Go all the way around one more time and bring that wire back up to the front. Using the other wire, wrap around, going over the top of the bead and all the way around the mandrel and back up to the front. Now you have wires running in opposite directions. Check on the back of the mandrel and make sure that your wire wraps are not crossing each other. Come back to the front, and the wire that is the furthest away from you, guide it so that it is coming towards you. The wire on the bottom, guide it so that it is facing away from you. Using the top wire, wrap around the outer edge of your bead until you meet the wire on the bottom. Let go of the top wire, pick up the bottom wire, guide it around the edge of the bead, and stop when you meet the first wire. Repeat this process, alternating wires and wrapping around the outer edge of the bead until you have about 2.5 inches of wire left on either side, one going away from you, one coming towards you. Slide the ring off of the mandrel, and we're going to work on one side at a time. Taking the tail end of the wire that is going across the outer portion of the ring wraps for your band, guide that wire across the top through the center of the ring, back out the other side, and wire wrap to bundle the bands that are going around for your ring. You want to wire wrap these about 2 or 3 times. Trim your tail on the outer edge of the ring. Flip your ring over to the other side and repeat the process, taking your tail end across the bands, through the center of the ring, back up around, and wire wrapping 2 or 3 times to bundle the wraps around the ring. Trim your tail on the outer edge of your ring. Place the ring back onto the ring mandrel and wiggle it down to the size that you want. I started on the 8 and ended on the 7. That is exactly the size that I wanted. And it's ready to wear. For the second ring, the steps are exactly the same in the beginning. Take 3 of your favorite beads. I'm using 3 small beads from Gingerbread Hollow from jessiejamesbeads.com. Bring those to the middle of your wire and place them on the mandrel one size larger than the ring size that you need. Bring both wires to the back. Using one of the wires, go across the top of the beads, around and back. That will be your top wire. Repeat the process with the other side of the wire, going around the ring mandrel and coming around on the bottom. Check your wires on the back to be sure that none of them are crisscrossing. Guide one wire away from you and one wire towards you. And now we're ready to begin the wrapping. Using the bottom wire, guide the wire around the outer edge of the bead closest to that wire and between the first and second bead, so that you're looping together 2 of the beads, leaving the outer edge bead. Bring that wire back down to where you started. With the top wire, go around the outer edge of the bead that is closest and around the center bead going between the second and third bead so that you're capturing that center bead on either side with both pieces of your wire. Bring your wires back to where they started so that the top wire is coming down towards you, the bottom wire is going away from you. And you are going to wire wrap just as you did if this were one single bead, using the top wire to go around the outer edge of all of the beads, coming around until you meet the bottom wire, letting go of the top wire, grabbing the bottom wire, wrapping around the outer edge, up and around until we meet the first wire, and on around. Once you've wrapped around the outer edge of the beads as many times as you want, leave yourself a 2.5 to 3 inch tail. Take the ring off of the mandrel and wire wrap the band 2 or 3 times, just as you would if this were a single bead ring. Place the ring back on the ring mandrel and wiggle it down to restore that round ring shape for the band and to get the size of the ring that you want. Slide it back off and it's ready to wear. Both of these rings can be achieved using any of your favorite Jessie James beads. You can also add smaller beads or seed beads around the outer wire wraps of your single beads. There are a lot of different design options when it comes to these rings. Give it a try, practice once or twice, and you will be making a ton of rings using your favorite Jessie James beads in no time.